Hello all, Tot here with a new video in the Saint of the Voice series. I just gone over my favorite comedian Dave Chappelle, and another one of my favorite comedians I'm going over today is the one only George Carlin. Now, I really like George Carlin because he's a very insightful and thought provoking, but also a very sad man. You see, when I watch a George Carlin, you know, show where George Carlin said, I always I always get this feeling that he was an idealist, that he had these really nice ideas, this perfect utopia, and eventually the world had grinded that away from him. He talked a lot about language, about words, about the way people use words, how they make people think, how they're tuning forks for thought, or they could be dead in the water, you know. And I always felt like I was getting taught by a teacher for a while. And he would just talk and talk and really just show the absurdities of life. And one of his best ones he ever said, one of the best quotes he ever had was, Americans have trouble with reality. And I have no idea of the life he led before the advent of social media, the internet, and before 1993, the year I was born. But even back then, I can see it. I can understand where he was coming from. I mean, look at people today. There's mental health issues galore, delusions run wild, narcissism, all that are just overtaking everything. And it seems everybody wants to be their own king. And it breaks my heart because George Carlin would voice for community, for us against the world. We're Americans, not all these little check boxes, all these little boxes, and trying to defy the atomization of our culture, of our people, of division. He wanted to add and multiply, whereas, in his words, government would subtract and divide, which I believe is still on point to this day. And I always felt that he was coming from a place of love, and the older he got, it just seemed to wear on him that he was just speaking into the void. Yes, they were jokes, they were funny, but I think they're a cry for help too, deep down. He wants somebody to fully understand what he was saying, past the laughs, because it seemed like he wanted to scream from the rooftops, from the mountains, that he wanted change. He was willing to help it, willing to facilitate that, but nobody listened to him. His whole career literally fell on deaf ears. And that's a tragedy, to say the least. But I listened to him. His monologue on words about, what happens to veterans and mental health and disease really helped me think about my own critical thinking. Really helped me think about other things besides myself. Helped me empathize with other cultures and people. Get more familiar with other ideas than my own. It always made me want to explore more, be more curious, be more insightful than inflammatory, to say the least. And I thank him. I I wish he was still around, but I don't know what he'd see life now in America is either a nightmare or a dream. Nightmare that the whole of what he talked about was going down the spiral. He laid out the path, or a dream because he was right. I don't know. I can't speak for him. I can speak for myself, and I just don't know anymore. Nobody really listened to George Carlin, and I think we're all paying for it. He was drowned out by the applause when he wanted people to hold hands and work together and learn from one another and not be so different, not be stolen from, be lied to, be cheated, be manipulated. He knew what you got people to see, got people to think, and what they hear, you can influence everything about them. And I think he foretold social media, or at least some version of it, in his monologues about how different America is to other countries and how our perception aren't always matching with reality. And I think we're going back to that where we need to get really cozy with reality. All these expectations and delusions and irrationality are not good. I love America. I'll say that right now, no question. I'm not anti-American in the slightest. And I'm not angry with America. I'm just very disappointed, you know, for a number in my college, trying to get a job, trying to get a family. I I don't know if it's possible for me in this country. I will say that right now. I will admit that right now, and that's wholly my worldview. To each their own. There's more than 300 more people in this country that try and make it, and I applaud them. But I don't know. It's getting harder and harder and harder. And I don't see the point in trying to help someone that actively tries to denounce me or forget about me or push me away. And I feel something's coming. I don't know. I'm not making conspiracy theories. I'm not having, I don't feel or think on this. I don't know. I can't tell you what is coming, but I feel something is, and it's not going to be good. And if it's needed or not, I don't know. I don't know if it's medicine or poison coming down the pipeline, but George Carlin taught me that even though the medicine tastes terrible, it's what you need. It will help you, heal you, and being rational and thinking about what people talk about really helps us all out together. We each other has back, and not just think about ourselves. Like a lot of people just let something happen to others and then get worried when it happens to them, and that's not the way it should happen. It should go. We should all protect each other, not in some communist or socialist idea in any way, shape, or form, but our rights, the things we hold dear, the things we value, and like mind share people. But I don't think that's happening. Everybody has an idea. It's very hard to fight ideas, as George Carlin shown for decades, and I miss him. I watch his stuff a lot, even to this day, and I probably will still watch it as long as I'm alive because it's still true that the value and the ideas he put forth, perceptions, and just the thoughts he put in my mind still rattle around in my brain every once in a while. And I miss George Carlin, as we all should. We lost a great one. I hope wherever he's at, he's happy. Or at least happy he's gone. I don't know. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Have a nice day.